Interrogation rooms hold some of the most horrifying, saddening, and life-changing moments in history. So here are some of the craziest interrogation moments of all time.
Oh, no.
Starting out with Thomas Robinson, a 27-year-old facing life in prison after shooting a 17-year-old boy. But Thomas wasn't going down easily. In fact, he was determined to make the cops' life as difficult as he could in the most dangerous ways imaginable. As the policeman moves to handcuff him, Thomas leans over and glances at the holster on the cop's waist, where he gets an idea that could end in death for him and the officer.
Yeah, I'm good. You couldn't get it.
Thomas made a leap for the cop's gun, but due to safety features built into the holster, he wasn't able to get it out. After a short struggle, 2 more cops entered the room with tasers to subdue him, and he was eventually restrained without further issue. This obviously just looks like a case where the suspect wanted to escape and was prepared to do so by any means necessary. But take another listen to what he's saying as he's fighting with the cops. If he was really trying to escape, it's unlikely he'd be repeating the words "kill me" from the get-go. Instead, it's possible that Thomas was so terrified of his sentence and the position he was in that he made the radical move to scare the officers in hopes that they'd shoot him and spare him from what's to come. Bringing a firearm into an interrogation room is an incredibly foolish idea, and the majority of police departments forbid it for the safety of the detectives. But it seems this Las Vegas Police Department also forgot about that rule, and come incredibly close to seeing the consequences. This man, convicted of killing a 2-year-old boy, actually managed to retrieve the gun from the detective's holster, resulting in a mad scramble to get it back off him. It took 3 separate officers and multiple punches to the head to reclaim the firearm. Somehow, nobody was hurt, but Ryan Waller wasn't so lucky, as his story ends in a truly horrifying way after he was brought in for interrogation with a bullet still stuck in his head.
You're telling me they shot you with a revolver in your eye?
Yes.
Is it a BB gun?
No, it was a real gun, man. It was just a revolver.
They shot you in the eye. You wouldn't be talking to me right now. It was most likely you'd be dead.
But little did police officers know, he was actually telling the truth. As while 18-year-old Ryan was being mocked by detectives, he was suffering from a gunshot to the head and experiencing a brain bleed that could end his life at any moment.
I'm trying to go back to sleep and try to go back to bed.
You're not going back to bed.
On the 23rd of December 2006, 2 men broke into Ryan Waller's house looking for revenge for a past argument. Ryan heard the noise at the door, but when he went to investigate, a hand reached inside and shot him twice in the eye. The 2 men, Richie and Larry Carver, then entered his house and shot Ryan's girlfriend Heather, killing her instantly. By some miracle, 18-year-old Ryan survived and was able to talk to police when they arrived hours later. Given he'd just been shot in the head, he told them he had no idea what happened, but instead of being taken straight to the hospital, he was taken to the police station and interrogated for the longest hour of his life. Before the interview started, Ryan was left in the room alone. He squirmed in pain for 20 minutes straight, and worse yet, he was handcuffed to the desk and unable to scream for help.
Man.
Ryan is obviously not okay, but the detectives begin the interrogation anyway.
You know why you're down here, Ryan? You have no idea why you're down here? Okay. I don't know what happened, okay? So I'm going to read you something to make sure you understand your rights, okay? Okay, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can't be used against you in a court of law. What's the highest grade you went through school?
I don't know. I just want to go home.
Oh, you're not going to go home right now. What's the highest grade that you completed?
B?
No, not grade as in letter grade. I'm asking, did you graduate high school?
No.
Do you know how to read and write, Ryan?
Yeah.
The way the detective is talking to Ryan implies that he knows something is wrong. He's raising his voice slightly, slowing down, and talking in very simplified language just as you would a child. Yet even with the massive red mark around Ryan's face and the dazed responses he's giving, the detective still decides that nothing is wrong and continues questioning him.
Do you have a girlfriend? No? You know a girl named Heather?
The one that lives there right now?
I guess, I don't know. If her name's Heather, what's her last name?
I don't know which name she's trying to use as her last one. She's trying to have a real last as her nickname, so I don't know.
What nickname does she go by?
She probably wants the last name, Kyman.
Kyman? How old is Heather?
16 or 17.
What happened to your face?
I don't know.
You told the officer just a few minutes ago that someone hit you. Do you remember who hit you?
I think it was Heather.
Why would Heather hit you?
It was an accident. I forgot why.
What was an accident?
Heather's last name?
No. What was an accident?
Heather hitting me.
What happened for her to hit you in the eye like that?
She just hit me on accident. She was giving Christina a head.
She was what?
She was helping Christina with her hair or something. I don't know.
Who's Christina?
She's on the couch.
Christina's on the couch?
Ryan and Heather lived with another person whose name isn't public. There's a possibility that it's the Christina he's referring to here, but either way, nobody else was home at any point of the night of the attack. Ryan is clearly suffering traumatic brain injury, and it's astonishing that the detective isn't connecting the dots. Even if it was just blunt force like Ryan is telling him, he still should be checked out by a doctor given how he's acting. But of course, that's not how it happens. Instead, it somehow gets even more messed up.
What happened last night?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I really don't. I just want to go to sleep and go to sleep.
Who was in the house when you went to sleep?
Christina and Heather.
Christina and Heather.
Mm-hmm.
And Christina was on the couch?
Heather was.
Heather was on the couch. You told me Christina was on the couch just a minute ago.
I don't know, man. I really don't. I really don't. I just want to go and go to sleep, man.
Oh, Ryan, you're not going to go anywhere. Do you know what happened in your house last night?
Why, what happened?
I don't know what happened. You're all beat up. So tell me what happened.
I don't know. I just want to go to sleep, man.
There's a dead girl in your living room.
She's dead?
Yes.
Heather? The girl on the couch is dead?
I don't know if she's on the couch. She's dead.
Well, these people came over, Richie and his dad, with shoot and arrow, bow and darts. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They hit me and her with those. That's it. And Heather wasn't there. And Eric wasn't there. It was just me and Heather.
And then what happened?
And that's it. Richie and his dad tried to break in through the back.
Richie and Dad? His dad?
Mm-hmm.
Who's Richie?
I don't know.
Well, you obviously know him. You know his name by
He used
Richie.
to live there.
Was he a roommate of yours?
He used to be.
They hit you?
Yeah.
Now it's Richie that hit you, not Heather?
No, Richie and his dad.
Why?
Because they were trying to get their stuff. I don't know why.
And they had some kind of bow and arrows?
They each had 2 revolvers and they didn't let off any shells.
Okay, you just said they had bow and arrows. Now they have revolvers?
That's what I meant. They had revolvers.
They have revolvers?
Yes.
And then what happened?
And then they shot us with those.
They shot both of you?
Yeah.
Where'd they shoot you at?
I got shot in the eye.
You got shot in the eye
I think so.
with a revolver.
I think. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Then what happened?
I don't know.
You don't know a lot, Ryan.
I don't, man. I really don't.
I'd like to see this detective try and articulate himself anywhere near as Ryan is in this situation. He's managed to recount the exact sequence of events as well as the perpetrator's names with the revolver bullet still in his brain. It does sound like an unbelievable story, and that's probably why the cop is essentially laughing at him by now. But that still doesn't excuse any part of what's going on. He's obviously distressed, in pain, and needs to go to the hospital. But he's still more than half an hour away from any form of salvation.
Ryan, why don't you tell me what really happened there? Because I don't believe...
I really don't know, man. I really don't. I don't know. I can tell you anything, I swear.
I want you to tell me the truth. That's all I want from you.
Richie and his dad came there. And I don't know why. I don't know why, but they put me in sleeping hold. And, like, they put me in sleeping hold with the arrows and shit. Like, I lived through that crap.
You're all over the board here, number one. You're saying bows and arrows, you're saying revolvers, and you're saying some other thing. And you're saying they shot you in the eye. Okay? They shot you with a revolver in your eye.
Yes. And that's
Is it a BB gun?
No, it was a real gun, man. It was just a revolver.
If they shot you in the eye with a revolver, you wouldn't be talking to me right now. It was most likely you'd be dead.
That's what I thought too, man. I really don't know. I really don't know, and I just want to go back to sleep and try to go back to bed.
You're not going back to bed. Okay? That's not going to happen. What happened to Heather?
Heather got shot.
Where did she get shot?
Inside the face once.
She got shot inside of the face?
Mm-hmm.
How close were you to her when she got shot in the face?
It was after I got shot, so I didn't even hear anything.
So you got shot first?
Uh-huh.
And what happened? Did you call 911?
Uh-uh.
Did you see if she was alive?
She was sleeping still, and that's it. I just let her sleep.
She got shot in the side of the face and you let her sleep?
Yes.
This does not make sense, Ryan.
I know, I didn't mean to, man. I'm sorry. I didn't know she was passing out. That's because I got shot wrong once, too, and I was gonna pass out.
Okay, this is now, not before. You're saying right now you've been shot
Yes.
in the eye
Yes.
with a revolver.
Yes.
All right. Ryan, you need to start telling me the truth because your story doesn't make sense.
I'm trying, man. I don't know.
What happened with you and Heather last night?
Her dad came and shot the house.
And shot her.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad shot her.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you do?
I tried to go back to sleep.
After you've been shot
Mm-hmm.
in the eye,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't know enough to call 911.
Mm-mm.
Ryan, look at me. Ryan,
Yes. I don't know, man. I really don't
why
know.
did you shoot Heather, Ryan?
I didn't shoot Heather. She was already shot once by her brother, I swear.
Richie.
Yes.
Richie shot his own sister.
Yes, I swear. That's it.
Sit down.
Not me.
And you've been shot in the eye.
Yes.
Put your legs down. Put your legs down. Bring your face closer.
Oh, my head hurts.
Okay. Yeah, be right back.
Finally, the detective at least considers the fact that Ryan might be in some form of physical distress. He leaves the room to ask for an ambulance and returns momentarily to try and get a few more details about the shooting. Ryan clarifies that Heather isn't related to Richie or his dad, and that he's got no idea why they attacked him that evening. 10 minutes later, the fire department arrives to take a look at Ryan's injury.
And he's acting like he has a serious head injury, which would make sense.
What's your
You guys
name?
confirm.
Ryan.
Yeah, we'll take him.
I don't know why.
Yeah, we
it's
can
like
tell.
Did that all? Has it been like that before, or it just happened tonight?
like this for like a day or so.
So it happened what? The other night?
I don't know.
You don't know what happened. Were there guns around?
This kid Eric did it. I don't know how he did it exactly. I might have been shot. I don't know.
Ryan gets his blood pressure taken, and finally, after 56 minutes of unnecessary and ultimately deadly interrogation, he's taken to the hospital. Upon inspection at the hospital, doctors immediately realized his status was critical and that he also had indeed been shot in the eye. They also told his father that he'd contracted an infection that could have been prevented had he received proper care. Ryan stayed at the hospital for 35 days and lost part of his brain and his left eye. Worst of all, though, He experienced regular seizures from the day he left the hospital until 2016, when one finally took his life. Richie and Larry were both given life in prison without the possibility of parole. Ryan's father also sued the police department, but as is so often the case, he only received a fraction of the punishment, less than 3 years in prison. Many people believe this officer should be charged with assault and possibly even murder, and that 3 years is absolutely not enough, especially compared to cases like Reed Durrance, who's facing up to 30 years in prison after attacking a cop. Reed was arrested at an elementary school after he was seen pretending to be the father of a kindergartner. Reed was seen to be acting strangely around the kids and failed to correctly name any of the children there, so he was arrested and taken to the police station. In the interrogation, Reed freely told officers that he intended to lure one of the children out, feed them candy laced with tranquilizers, then abduct them while they were unconscious. But after what seemed like an easy interrogation, Reed suddenly decided that the detective had heard enough and made a bid for his escape.
953, unit up here. Put your hands behind your back now. Okay. You kidding me right now?
Reed had picked up a pen and attempted to stab the officer with it, but the officer's reflexes and composure helped him to instantly take him down and restrain him. That, and the fact that the pen isn't the most effective weapon. Either way, Reed was arrested and charged with attempted kidnapping, and now a felony count of assault. He's currently awaiting trial and facing up to 30 years in prison. Reed's escape obviously didn't end very well for him, but the story is different for Quantrell Schwarzlow, who managed to escape the cops faster than anyone in history. Quantrell was brought in for strangling a girl and assaulting her, a crime he clearly didn't want to be convicted of.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately for Quantrell, his handcuffs were a dead giveaway, and he was captured 4 hours later. While it's unknown exactly what happens to Quantrell after, this clip will forever put him in the Interrogation Hall of Fame. However, Ricky Hawthorne took a much more straightforward approach to ending his interrogation, managing to confess in record time. Ricky was found covered in blood near the bodies of Lara Kuchar and Tommy Skeens. Lara had clearly been assaulted. Ricky's DNA was also found at the scene, so police had no worries when bringing him in. Surprisingly though, Ricky would make it even easier for them.
Hey,
Hey,
come on in.
hey, listen.
Yeah, I did.
How's it?
I did.
You know what? Let's do this.
I did it, but I think somebody came behind me and finished it.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it.
So much for staying silent. However, Ricky is alleging that he wasn't actually the murderer. He just attacked the couple and assaulted Laura. It was someone else that finished the job. Even though the evidence was stacked against him, he still would have had a better chance of getting away with it if he just stayed silent.
There's 3 more people. I don't know.
And you know what?
They was living when I left, but I think somebody came in behind me and finished them off. I did beat the shit out of them, but it was somebody else. I left.
Despite his claims, it was determined that the couple died of the injuries inflicted by Ricky, and he was later found guilty of the first and second-degree murder, as well as the attack on Laura. But nothing could prepare police for the interrogations of these 2 evil teen killers, suspected of murdering their best friend for nothing more than their own joy.
I just killed Cassie. We just left her house. This is not a f***ing joke. Oh,
These 2 16-year-olds are currently suspected of stabbing classmate Cassie Stoddard over 30 times in one of the most horrifying murders in history. But what they don't realize is that in the next couple hours, police are going to dismantle every part of their story in front of their own eyes, resulting in one of the most satisfying and intense interrogations of all time, where these teens will soon realize their actions have consequences. At 11:02 p.m., 16-year-old Cassie had been left home alone to take care of her aunt's house while she was away. That night, she invited over 3 people, her boyfriend Matt and his friends Brian and Tori. Halfway into the night, Brian and Tori left, leaving just Matt and Cassie in the house. Soon after, the lights in the house started to turn on and off, with strange, loud noises coming from the basement. An hour later, Matt headed home, leaving Cassie alone and terrified. As soon as Matt had left, the lights turned off again, a door slammed viciously behind her back, and two masked figures, dressed in all black, burst into the living room. Before Cassie even knew what was happening, she had been brutally stabbed to death and left on the living room floor. With barely any leads, the police were left wondering who could have committed such a horrifying crime. Eventually, they decided to bring in the two boys who visited Cassie on the night of the murder, and two of the most disturbing interrogations of all time began.
Hey, Ryan. Hey. Here we talked to your folks, and just kind of told them they're filled in, and they're comfortable with the fact that we'll sit down and kind of, the other night we hashed over some things about, where you were and all the details and stuff. I want to remind you that, of course, you're not under arrest, okay? You're free to leave, and if you don't have to answer any questions that you don't want to, and at any time you can walk out that door and go hook up with your parents, okay? So we're not making you stay here for any reason.
Both boys were questioned a couple days earlier and provided the same alibi. After leaving Cassie's house, they both headed to a nearby movie theater and stayed there for the rest of the night. Though the cops found it curious that neither of the boys were actually able to tell them what the movie was about. But given this is the only reason they have to suspect the boys, they decided to bring them in individually without arresting them, creating a comfortable atmosphere that wouldn't scare them away.
We're going to start about, I know we talked the other night about, first of all, why we're here, and we're investigating a homicide.
Yes.
That Cassie Stoddard was murdered.
Yes.
And because of the fact that you were, one of the last three people, there, and you had knowledge of her and stuff like that, it's common course that we want to go and interview people and find out what you know.
Regardless of the fact that neither of the boys had been arrested, it's important to remember that, guilty or innocent, the best course of action here is always to call a lawyer. Now that the detectives have confirmed they're there regarding the murder, they have to assume they're suspects, which in turn means all the cops are going to try to do is obtain information and try to extract a confession. A lawyer would be able to help spot traps set by the detectives that will be used against them further in the interrogation. Traps such as the very next question asked.
Let's talk about Friday, and I think the date was the 22nd, and that was the night that you guys went up there to visit. Can you tell me a little bit about maybe at school or something, how you learned or how you come to go up to Cassie's place or out to that place she was house sitting?
She told me on Thursday that she was having baby sitting in the house, basically.
Okay.
House sitting.
Okay, so you guys decided to go, plans are made, it's Friday. What time do you get ready? What time do you end up, how does it work out that you and Brian head out to?
What time did I leave from our house? On Friday.
It was after I got back from taking Jamie to the game.
It was about 6:30 or 7.
Yeah, 6:30ish.
About there.
Okay, between 6:30 and 7.
Yeah.
You left your house.
Yeah, and I went and picked up Brian.
7. Probably, between 6:30 and 7.
Okay.
The detective is trying to establish a timeline of events here that he will refer back to for the rest of the interrogation. If Tori is guilty, something he says here will be a lie, meaning that if he's pressured for long enough, he's bound to say something that will conflict with his initial statement, giving the detective a way in. But this particular case also carries an interesting dynamic. There are two suspects being interrogated back to back. Given that they're separated, this means that their stories will have to be identical, or else the cops will have an instant tell that at least one of them is lying. This is a technique the detectives use multiple times in this case and will eventually prove to tear the case wide open.
So you arrive there. What happens when you get there?
Cassie and Matt gave us a tour of the entire house.
Just back up just a little bit. So you drove and drive. Did they greet you at the door?
Yeah, Matt was outside on the deck, and he waved to us, and then he went inside the house, and we just walked up the stairs and walked in.
So you walked up the stairs, you saw a basement door going in, maybe, and a garage door. See, this is the garage door right here.
Yeah.
Was there a door here, a little man door to walk? Did you?
Oh, yeah, there was.
Okay, so you went by that door, but you went up
We went up the stairs.
Second level
the front door.
Okay. So they greeted you there. You went inside?
Yes.
And what happened as soon as you went inside?
We looked around where the entry hall, and then we got the tour of the entire house.
Now,
We
they take you on that tour?
Yeah, they did. They showed us around.
Cassie was house sitting her aunt's place on the night of the murder, so there was little chance that any of her friends from school would even know she was there, let alone have the knowledge of the house to be able to gain access and hide for hours undetected. So now that police know that both Tori and Brian were given a full tour of the house, they are instantly more suspicious to them, as they're some of only a select group of people that could possibly have all the information. The detectives then continue on this theme, asking Brian about some seemingly irrelevant points that actually carry some huge weight in this case.
They were eating popsicles. Now, were you in the kitchen? What were you using to open them? Were they these ones you have to cut the top open, or did you tear them with your teeth, or how?
You had to cut the top open.
Okay, so how were they opening the popsicles?
I remember there was a knife in the drawer that had like a child hang on it.
Okay.
And Matt was like, oh yeah, I showed him how to open it and stuff, and he opened it for me, and then he did it.
Okay. So did you touch that knife at all?
I think I held it first, yes.
Okay. Did you see them using the knife?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Why did you handle it?
I was trying to find like a pair of scissors, and I found that, and I'm like,
okay,
this might work.
Okay.
So I just touched that.
The curveball question obviously threw Brian off, but it does provide a reason for why his fingerprints were found all over a knife in the kitchen. However, when the detective switches his attention to the electrical panel in the basement, Brian doesn't get off so easily.
So you downstairs, now you got the popsicles out of the freezer downstairs? Is that where you got
it
from?
Yeah, the freezer.
That's where they were? All right. Well, did you see any other room downstairs? Did you go in the room that was in the corner? So that room in the corner?
Yeah.
Tell me about that room.
That room was kind of cool. It had like a couch and like a TV in there. It had like a fridge, like a microwave, I believe.
Okay. Did you notice anything on the walls? Do you know what a...
Like painting, whatever?
Well, maybe like that, but you know what an electrical panel is? Like the breaker box?
Like the steel thing?
Yeah, it's like a steel panel door, and then it's got breaker switches in it. It turns the power off to everything. Do you remember seeing one of those on the wall?
I have it in my house, yeah.
Okay, do you remember seeing one on the wall in that room?
I didn't even think of it, no.
Okay, you didn't think of it or you didn't see it?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, but you might have, if the door would have been hanging open on it, you probably would have noticed that, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't shut the door on it, it was open, so your fingerprints wouldn't be on that panel for any reason. You don't remember shutting the door?
I don't think my prints would be on that, because I didn't know exactly where it was.
Okay.
So.
I mean, you'd probably remember touching something like that, because they're dangerous.
Probably.
The entire house had of course been forensically analyzed, so it's likely that the police had already found Brian and Tori's fingerprints all over the electrical panel. And the detective is right. There's almost no conceivable reason for the boys to have touched it. After all, Brian admitted that the only reason he went down there was to raid the freezer and check out the movies. Of course, we know the boys used the panel to scare Matt and Cassie before carrying out the murder. But for the cops, it just raises more questions, especially when Brian states that he never even saw the panel there in the first place. The cops know something is seriously wrong, so they decide to continue piling on to see if they can find any more holes in their story.
Oh, okay, so you're going to go get tickets to go to the movie?
And so...
You didn't park anywhere though in between, so there'd be no reason for like a neighbor to see your car. Where at?
To find a cell phone called Matt.
Okay, so was this in the neighborhood, just not far down?
No, it was like maybe 20 feet away from the house.
Okay.
Then Matt wanted us to come back and get him.
Probably me, I'm not understanding. But, so, you leave the house and you're just like, you're 20 feet down the road.
Yeah.
And then you called Matt.
Yeah.
You hadn't been gone from the house for, a minute or two, right? I mean...
Well, we didn't call Matt yet.
Okay, so you stopped there to find the cell phone.
Yeah.
Brian begins to scramble, desperately looking for the words that would get him out of the hole he's dug. It's worth noting that the detectives haven't even cranked up the pressure yet, and Brian's entire interrogation thus far has been exceedingly casual. At one point, they were even discussing their favorite movies. But this makes Ryan's stuttering all the more telling. He's struggling to attempt to stick to his story, whilst only being asked simple questions. So, the detectives take advantage of this, and begin to start asking increasingly specific questions.
And we like to see the whole movie. So, and I think the only one playing was Pulse, and that was at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
So, we went inside there. I remember calling Matt inside the movie theater.
So that was it still 9:45, or was it a little later when you called Matt, so we can match up that phone call?
Maybe 10:26, I think. 10:26, 10:27.
Okay?
Remember, neither of the boys were actually at the movie theater that night. But this phone call did in fact take place. They told Nat they had to stay quiet to not annoy the other patrons. But in reality, they were hiding in the room directly beneath him, whispering to not be discovered before the murder.
So what was the movie about? I mean, have you watched most of the movie?
I don't know. Well, there's a girl there.
Okay.
I sat. She was maybe 2 seats away from me.
Okay. What side of you was she sitting
On my right side.
On your right side?
Yes.
2 girls, right?
There's a girl and she had a friend. Yeah.
I mean,
You at least watch parts of the movie or something. Any characters you can hook us up with to describe somebody in the movie, describe what happened, anything. What's the whole premise or the plot of the movie? What's it all about?
Okay, it's about a guy, his wife.
I don't want to know what White Noise is about. I want to
dies.
know what this movie's about.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And then I remember, I can't really exactly explain the movie because I haven't paid attention to it.
Well,
Okay.
you know what we did yesterday?
What?
We went and watched the movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So,
Okay.
what is the movie about?
Jeez. I don't exactly know. I remember being really bored.
You go in a movie, you pay that money to go in a movie, and so your story is you didn't really watch the movie.
Well, I'm talking to the girls.
You got to pick up at least one image off the screen that you saw. Tell us about one person. Describe one person you saw in the movie. What they look like.
I'm seeing a man, and he looked at a TV screen, and it had white noise on it. It had the shh thing.
And that's all you saw the
Yeah.
whole movie. So how long do you think you were inside that movie theater? Grand total.
We were there for maybe 2 hours.
2 hours? You were
2
inside that movie theater?
Maybe
And you don't remember
quite 2
one
hours.
detail to help us out. We're trying to help you out.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want to tell you.
Now that Brian is being pressured by the detectives, his story is starting to fall apart even more. Brian is obviously a massive movie nerd, but when at a theater to enjoy a new movie, he can't even remember a single frame or character from the entire thing. Something isn't adding up. Also, Ryan has a tell. Every time he's been caught in a lie or is forced to go off his prepared story, he stutters heavily. Just as he does here while trying to describe this imaginary man from the movie. See if you can spot any of Brian's lies using this tell as the interrogation continues.
Brian, we got some problems. Okay.
Yeah, you understand.
We've talked to a lot of people. We've viewed tape. Okay. And I'm here to tell you, you didn't go to the movie.
Okay.
You were not at that movie theater. Okay. Now that's neither here nor there. But the thing is, you're gonna have to get by that.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't go to the movie, that's fine, but you're gonna have to tell us where you went so that we can put you there. Because I don't want something to cave in on you that's not working for you.
Right.
Okay, we're here to help you, bro. Really, we are.
You know what happened.
The detectives here are trying to take a softer approach, stating that they are there for Brian to try and help him out of the hole that he knows he's in. This technique is considerably more effective when used on juveniles, but Brian doesn't fall for it. Instead, he spends the next 10 minutes spinning another web of lies, stating that he wasn't at the movies, but he wasn't at Cassie's house either. Instead, he was out with Tori going through cars, saying they were stealing valuable items out of unlocked cars.
Is there anything that we can go back and make your story fit?
There wasn't anything in the cars. There was a mother that was yelling and at like her kids or something. Then she walked outside and then we kind of scurried off early, because of people there.
In Tori's interrogation, he also used this excuse, but was equally as convincing.
When you went into these cars, so you can't give us like a color of a car.
I got
like the first
white
one. Okay, a white one.
I can't remember what kind it was.
Because of their terrible delivery of the lies and all of the evidence that had already been found at the house, the detectives essentially dismiss the story and loop straight back to the murder.
There's nobody that's going to see you guys sneak back into the house.
No.
That didn't happen.
No.
And there's nobody that's going to see you around the house on Saturday.
No.
We're not going to find those people.
No. We were at our house at all.
Does it have anything to do with the murder? Does it have anything to do with the murder of Cassie?
No. No, I did not have anything to do with the murder of Cassie.
Tori?
No.
Do you love Cassie?
Like love as a friend or love
You
like.
kind of have a crush on her a little bit. Did you have a crush on her a little bit?
I did, and I was about to ask her out,
Okay.
but then Matt did.
Out of nowhere, Brian gives a motive for the crime. Up until this point, it seems as though Cassie had been selected completely at random. In fact, the pair had recorded a video prior to the murder where they even said they felt sad about what they had to do.
We found our victim, and she's our friend. But you know what? We all have to make sacrifices. Our first victim is going to be Cassie's daughter. She's going to be alone in a big, dark house out in the middle of nowhere. How perfect can you get?
I'm horny just thinking about it.
Hell yeah.
But while Brian has a motive, it was still unclear what Tori's motive would have been. That was until he said this.
You know that Matt, her boyfriend, was going to be there too?
Yes.
So, and you're also familiar with him?
Yes.
Friends with him?
I hated him last year.
The suspects have a reason why each suspect would want to kill Cassie. Brian is jealous of Matt, and Tori simply hates him. Perhaps Matt was the next person on their list. Either way, the detectives have set all their traps and have gathered everything they need to finally start zeroing in to extract a confession.
Somebody has got you mixed into something, regardless of what level you're mixed in, to something that you do not want to be involved in. You don't want to be involved in this. Okay? Cassie is dead. She's not supposed to die, but she does. And you know what? I think you see it. I don't know if you're there. I don't know if you're on top of it. I don't know if you freak out and you do it. I don't know if Tori does it, but you know something? You're there. I can see it. I know by the evidence that we have that you're there. Okay?
I was there before.
Either it's you or it's Tori.
Well, I don't know who it was, but I did not go back to the house that night, I swear.
One other thing I want to touch upon at night when you're out messing around, that's why I asked you earlier, just take any masks with you. Because we have some indications that you had some like Halloween type, scary mask or something. You guys playing around with those at any point in time? Or?
We bought one earlier.
Well, I'm talking that night. You guys had some Halloween
It was
masks
in my
with you?
trunk of my car for a while, though.
Was it in the car Friday night?
Yeah, probably was.
Very important thing to us. We gotta solve about Black Rock Canyon too. Okay. We got a car matching your description, going up to Black Rock area.
Yeah, once we got up to Black Rock, we were like, "Oh, this is definitely not."
And that car's stopping. You're not just driving; it's stopping up there. Jennifer, did you stop for a period of time up in there?
Brian stopped to smoke. I didn't want him smoking in my car.
So did you guys get out? Did you walk? Did you get away from the car? Somebody saw that car unattended?
No, we
did they
did not.
report that as an unattended car up there?
No.
Did you guys dig anything up there? I mean, because you're probably going to have dirt in the back of your car from a shovel from dirt that's going to forensically match up.
There was dirt on that shovel already, though.
But I mean, we can match the dirt up. That's the good thing. Is the dirt going to come from Black Rock?
I don't know. Brian took the shovel out, I think.
Did he?
Yeah, but he didn't take it anywhere.
Okay. So is that dirt going to match up to the Black Rock area?
It might not. I'm not sure.
Unfortunately for Tori, the cops already know exactly where the dirt comes from, as Brian had already snapped. Before Tori's interrogation even began, they managed to extract a confession from Brian off camera, who then led them all the way to Black Rock Canyon, where they had buried all the evidence from the case. Now all that was left to do was to get Tori to confess. And what's worse, his parents were in the room with him the whole time, desperately praying he was innocent.
I'm here to tell you that we've been doing this for several days. We've talked to a lot of people. We've seen a lot of things. We've put the pieces of the puzzle together. That's what we do. That's all we've been doing. We haven't been sleeping. Okay? We know how it went down.
Tell us what happened.
With what?
Out of Cassie's place.
We went through cars, me and Brian.
Okay. I'm not here to insult you or anything, but we don't believe your story. And we don't believe your story. And I don't think your dad believes your story about going through the cars. It's a tough one. And I don't believe it, especially because I know it's not true. Because we got you going into that house. When you parked on the street, we got you going back into Cassie's house. If it was a prank, if you guys are just messing around, fine. We just need to know about that prank, you know, that's going on in there. And if it's you just there to scare him and you guys left and something happened else besides that.
One of the final steps in the Reed technique used in interrogations is to pose an alternative explanation that allows the suspect to admit guilt in a less serious manner. This is usually done by asking them if it was an accident. But here the detectives play on Tori's age and personality to try and make him believe that they believe it was a prank, making the bait more enticing to take.
Sean, do you guys go back in just to pull a prank? Is that what happens?
You're into
guys-
that kind of stuff. I mean, for all intents and purposes, and tell me if I'm screwed up on this, but you like horror movies, you like scare movies and stuff like that. That's what I've been told about you. You dig those kind of movies, right? Did you go in there just to scare them, just to scare the crap out of them, and, you know, and be done with it, you know? So tell us about that. Help us understand a little bit about it. Take a deep breath and do it, bud. You know the truth. The truth is easy for you. But we can help you.
Can I talk to an attorney?
You can do that.
Can you talk to me? Probably, yeah.
Despite not getting a complete confession from Tori, the detectives already had everything they needed to put the two away for life. And that's exactly what happened. On the 21st of August, 2007, both Brian Draper and Tori Adamczyk were convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in jail without the possibility of parole.